Guys, welcome back to Strong Successful Male. So for today, I'm going to go over an article titled, I was the world's pickiest dater and no guy could ever stack up. And big shout out to Jeff for sending me this article because it's quite entertaining. And guys, this story is about a young woman in her 20s and she joined the online dating world, and truly, as the title says, she is the world's pickiest dater. It's unbelievable the parameters she sets for the perfect guy in her opinion, for her to even give the time of day of. And the reason I'm doing this article, aside from the fact that it's very funny, is that this article shows exactly the reason why I tell you guys, when it comes to you guys that date, dating, relationships, all that, no validation, no compliments. Okay? And I don't say that to be a jerk. I don't say that to be mean, because I know, based on my own life experience, my friends' experience, people I know, countless stories, and of course articles like this, what happens when women are at the receiving end of never-ending validation, compliments, all that. Their egos are inflated, and that's why so many of you guys are frustrated, for those of you guys that date, about the treatment you guys receive. And the funny thing is, the woman in this article here, there's no picture of her, because I'd love to see what she looks like, but her attitude, the way she values herself it's as if she's a 10. It's as if she literally is a Victoria's Secret model with a never-ending supply of rich dudes to give her attention and give her what she wants. Hence her attitude, hence her ego. And because of this day and age, because of social media and dating apps, like I've told you guys, women, they can get constant validation 24 hours a day. Because of all these guys out there that are always willing to like their pictures, comment on them, tell them how sexy they are, etc. Bombard their inboxes on those dating apps with attention. So is it any wonder that nowadays you have women that could be just, not bad looking, kind of cute, okay, 6s and 7s, but think they're 10s and have the attitude that they're a 10. And I know you guys have seen this. I've read countless comments about this. I've experienced this, okay? When in the past, before social media, this wouldn't happen, okay? So this is why I tell you guys again, no validation. If you guys would, for the guys that are new to this channel, because I know I'm preaching to the choir here, if you guys would stop doing that, even though there is a never-ending supply of guys that are going to do this and they simply don't understand it and can't help themselves, it would have an impact. It'll at least help you guys, for those of you that date and relationships and all that. You'll see a big change in terms of how she behaves around you, how she treats you. And if you think I'm full of shit, if you think I'm talking out of my ass, then fine. For your girlfriend or girls that you date, bombard them with compliments. Bombard their social media with likes and comments and things like that. Do all these things and watch how quickly her attitude towards you changes. Watch how quickly her treatment of you changes, okay? So if you think I'm full of shit, go do all those things and watch what happens. It's not going to end well for you. Trust me. Okay? And this article is a perfect example of a generation raised by social media that they think they're the bomb. They think they're all 10s, and they treat guys like crap. And at the end of this article, it's going to be very interesting to see. You'll see how it ends here, because it's very entertaining. So, again, title of the article is, I was the world's pickiest dater, and no guy could ever stack up. Starts off saying, I joined the world of online dating on a whim. I had broken up with my boyfriend of 2 years and was ready to embark upon the rest of my 20s with a new lease on romance. Notice she said she broke up with her boyfriend. And notice she's in her 20s, her prime. Someone suggested Tinder. This was 2014. When Tinder was fairly new and dating behind a screen still hadn't totally shed its stigma. My family wasn't supportive. Eventually, I joined OkCupid and Match.com to diversify my portfolio. And every Monday morning, I kept my coworkers enthralled with my dating misadventures. You see, I was the world's pickiest dater. I didn't want to date a man under 5'10". I didn't want to date anyone with kids. She says in parentheses, I wasn't ready for kids, and I didn't want to be anyone's stepmom. Anyone divorced also wasn't my type. I figured he would have to have too many strings attached. I didn't want to date an actor, model, or club promoter, or anyone in the entertainment industry. I was looking for a doctor, lawyer, teacher, or police officer. My new boyfriend would have to be between 25 and 28. Younger men were too juvenile, and older men were just too old. I didn't want someone who wanted to take advantage of a 20-something because his first 2 wives didn't work out. And I didn't want to date someone who wasn't BLACK. And yes, I have to spell that out because of the times and YouTube censorship. I know how that sounds, but I'm a BLACK woman, and I never really dated a white guy. I guess I just didn't think the average white guy in Los Angeles would have anything in common with a BLACK girl who grew up in the inner city. Okay, guys, so as you can see here, as I told you, look at all the parameters she has in place in terms of what's good for her. Never ending, right? Now, we all, for those of you that date or do relationships or rotations or whatever you do, we all have deal breakers, right? Like, for instance, me, I will not date or let alone get in a relationship, because I'm not going to do relationships at this point in my life, a smoker. Complete turnoff. I don't want to smell it and I don't want to taste it, okay? No smokers. That's a deal breaker. Or another deal breaker is I don't want to be dating or involved with anyone that is a political nut job. That's always rambling on about politics, whether they're on the left or the right. Either one, I don't want to hear that bullshit, especially the left, okay? Those are deal breakers, right? And as for the looks department, I like women that are under 5'6". But that doesn't mean that if I met a smoking hot woman that was cool, that was 5'7", I'd kick her to the curb, right? But she would. My favorite, in terms of hair, my favorite is brown hair, brunettes. But that doesn't mean if I meet a smoking hot blonde, I'm going to kick the blonde to the curb because it doesn't meet my parameters. You see what I'm saying? I have certain deal makers in place in terms of the smoking and the being a political nut job. Okay, we all have a few things, but this woman takes it to a whole new level. And again, like I said before, where does all this pickiness come from, right? Never-ending validation, believing that she's the queen. And where did she get that mindset? Where did that come from? It's not an accident. It came from never-ending amount of guys making her feel that way, making her think that way. That's why I tell you, no validation. You stop doing that, I guarantee you, at least in your own dating and relationships, you're going to see a positive impact. Or if you keep that shit up, it's going to be a negative impact. So I'm not talking out of my ass here. This is real stuff. All right, she goes on to say, so I put the dating app filters to work to weed out or weed in the perfect guy for me. I left no stone unturned in my search for the best candidate. I read a potential date's profile as if he was applying for a job with the FBI. Sadly, there are no filters to determine whether someone still lives off his mother or has 5 roommates or a tattoo of My Little Pony on his back. My parents were afraid my pickiness was going to lead me to being all alone, except for several adorable cats. My list of can't date ifs went on and on. I inspected and critiqued every carefully curated profile picture displayed in the dating apps. If you were posted with women, I didn't think you were serious. Too many selfies made a man seem narcissistic. I didn't like the arrogance of posting in front of a luxury car or a trip to an exotic place like Giza, Egypt. I wanted a man to look good, but not too perfect. Otherwise, he might care more about himself than me. You see, guys, the list goes on and on and on. Like I said, where the fuck do you think all that comes from? Right? And yeah, she's in her 20s, so that's her prime. And yeah, okay, being in her prime, she knows that, okay, this is probably my best time to get what I want. But this is psycho, and we all know it here, right? Come on here. I was a sucker for beards, tailored clothing, and a job with benefits. As a teacher, I was making a stable income with health care, insurance, and I didn't want someone who couldn't at least meet me in the middle. Sometimes a man would meet most of my qualifications, and I would go out on a date. Curiously enough, I fell into a pattern of being ghosted by guys just when my heart would melt a little and I began to like them. I was a petty perfectionist. Gee, you think? I didn't realize until later when I allowed a green-eyed Stephen Curry lookalike from Los Angeles to give me the runaround for months. I allowed him to be my friend with benefits because I was convinced this man was a perfect match. If he could just settle down and realize I was the one. Didn't happen. It was out of sheer desperation, and then she puts in parentheses, or I had just exhausted all my Tinder matches that I finally began to uncheck certain filters on my OkCupid profile, such as age, distance away, and eventually race. I didn't necessarily answer messages from men outside my preferred demographic range, but the key was to make myself feel as if I had more options. One of my coworkers I had long entertained with my dating stories, a BLACK woman like myself, had been dating a JEWISH man for a few months and had just gotten engaged. On several occasions, she encouraged me, with little success, to date outside my comfort zone. She knew I had a type. She also knew that, unfortunately, there were only a few Drake doppelgangers out there with high-paying jobs who didn't also have children or crazy ex-girlfriends. Finally, I had to snap myself back to reality. Most of the men in Los Angeles were regular guys with a variety of backgrounds, and many would like to get to know me. I had been refusing to get to know them. Again, where does that all come from? Okay? In this day and age, guys, so many women have this idea in their head that they can get the top percentage of guys. As I've told you before, women are attracted to guys with status and no shit money. Okay? The top percentage guys. But only so many women, there's only so many guys in the top percentage that they can get in terms of high earners, status in terms of their jobs, business owners, maybe they're somewhat famous, who the hell knows. And of course, looks and body type. But by and large, most guys don't fit into that percentage. So you have all these women fighting over that small percentage of guys, and they keep doing that, convincing themselves that they're worth it, and they can get these guys and kick all the pretty decent good guys to the curb, and the next thing you know, they're in their 30s, or in some case 40s, and they're still alone with their cats, and they're having a panic attack, and then they blame guys because they're now alone, right? And you can see where they start. She's in her 20s looking for the top percentage, and it's not working out for her, even in her 20s. So I'm guessing probably she's not as good looking as she probably, or a catch as she may think she is, or has had so many guys convinced her, made her think she has. Goes on to say, after 2 more years of limited success, 2 more years, on any dating platform, I let my coworker match me with one of her husband's good friends. She had planned to set me up with him before, but she knew I had a type and that I would have rejected this guy before meeting him. She finally showed me a picture of him on Instagram. He was white. He wasn't all that tall. She's down to the bottom of the barrel at this point because obviously this was the type of guy she wouldn't have given the time of day of beforehand. When she came to realize things aren't exactly as she thought, and also maybe she's not as in demand as she thinks she is, all of a sudden now she's going to, you see what I mean here? It's hilarious. And it says also, and he was in the entertainment industry. In the beginning she said she didn't want anybody in the entertainment industry. Later, she sent me a short video of him at work. I had to admit, he had a sexy voice and was kind of adorable. He was being given a cake to celebrate his signing to a record company as an in-house writer. What I really liked about him was how humble he appeared, despite the circumstances. And I noticed he had the most brilliant blue eyes I'd ever seen. I responded with the emoji with huge eyes. Okay, I was willing to try. We met about a month later. We were in love within weeks, and we were married within months. Well, he's a dumbass. Remarkably, he is everything I had filtered out of my dating profile. But now I know he's everything I ever wanted and hopefully will ever need. Lesson learned. Well, isn't that interesting? So she spent years and years being picky as hell, getting nowhere, and obviously thinking that she was, pretty much a 10 and can get any guy she wanted. And surprise, surprise, she couldn't. And even the one she did like, guess what? they were playing her, as she was saying there, right? These are the top percentage guys because they know they can, and they also know female nature, and they're not going to stick around, right? And so finally she came to realize, maybe I'm being a little too picky, with the help of her friends, and met some dude, gave him a shot, right? And guess what? It wasn't so bad after all, and now she's happy. Now, we know darn well, we all know here that women can never be truly happy. There's always going to be something to complain about, bitch about, and they'll always be looking for a better prospect. But according to this story, for now, in the moment, it's how she's feeling. She's happy. We'll see how that goes later on down the road. There could be another article about her in 2 years. Who knows? But I thought this was a very interesting and entertaining article to read, again, about the self-proclaimed world's pickiest dater. And again, guys, like I said, I know I went on a lot about the validation thing in the beginning of the video here, but it's important to understand that. Like I said, guys, no validation. And if you're going to do it, at the very least, keep it to a bare minimum, okay? Because too much of it, and you're going to get this. All right. So, all right, guys, that's it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let me know what you think about this. Let me share some stories about this. And any women out there that watch this, if you've had similar situations where you've been way too picky, reality set in, let us know. I'll be entertained to hear. And be sure to like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe. And I'll catch you next time.